Hi, I'm Koya Tompkins, and today on Dove Talks, we're going to be talking with members of the personal crimes team at the state's attorney's office. We're going to ask them a little bit about how they partner with our victim witness advocates to help those who are impacted by personal crime. Do you want to actually just give us a refresher on what the personal crimes team does?
Sure. So the personal crimes team, we deal with cases that involve domestic violence, abuse of children, neglect of children, as well as the sexual offenses that come through the state's attorney's office.
And how about the victim witness program? How does that intersect with your job?
Whenever we have a case that involves a victim, CVIC does get involved. They make contact with that individual right away, whether it's the victim themselves or if the victim's a minor, then the parent or guardian of that victim. Then from there, we usually have a meeting that gets set up so that we meet with the victim as well with a CVIC advocate in order to address any concerns the victim might have or questions they might have about the whole criminal process.
Can you kind of talk about what it would look like with a victim that you might be helping, like how each of you work together?
So we each have our own really distinct roles. But it lets us then provide more wraparound care for a victim that can come in. So for instance, if a victim comes in for a sexual assault, let's say there's a lot of emotional support that they need. CVIC, their advocate, has usually spoken to them at length and already built a rapport with them prior to coming into the office. So it provides them a level of comfort before they start talking with the attorneys, talking about that legal side of things. But then also the advocate very much helps with any civil remedies or questions that they may have. For instance, I've had victims that need help with housing or help with obtaining a domestic violence protection order or disorderly conduct restraining order. That help can be provided. Other resources are therapy is a big one that a lot of people need to get involved in, whether it's a minor or an adult, and that CVIC can help get set up and provide as well. And then when it comes, or that individual comes into our office, the state's attorney side is more, we talk about the criminal case, we explain to them the criminal process, what to expect next, what a resolution would look like, what trial looks like, and any concerns they might have or they might have already told their advocate, and their advocate will then bring it up with us too if the victim forgets or gets too overwhelmed with the process to really identify what it is they wanted to talk about at a meeting.
It's such an important aspect of the criminal process too, to make sure the victim feels prepared and at ease and all of those things. So maybe now that would be a good time to segue to Rachel. So can you, Ashley kind of touched on it too, Rachel, just the communication piece of it. Can you talk about like how often you're communicating with our team on any given case?
CVIC is great for that because they are the ones that are actually communicating with our victim more often than we are, obviously, because we do it through the CVIC advocate. I communicate with the advocates probably every day. I mean, I'm always sending emails or they're sending me emails. A lot of times when somebody is appearing in custody on a case that has to do with domestic violence, we're getting an email from the advocate who has spoken with the victim to let us know before they've even appeared what their thoughts and wishes are regarding any kind of bond or an order prohibiting contact. So we get the communication right away. And then through the life of the case, it depends on, I guess, the victim, him or herself, and how much they participate in the case or how much I need them to. We communicate to the advocate all the offers that we send, and they're always asking us as well if we forget. So they're beautiful in that way to ask us, hey, have you sent them an offer? What's going on in this case, so that they can communicate that.
It's good that we have teamwork on that. Can you talk about the benefits to the victim with the partnership and the coordination of the state's attorney's office and CVIC?
I think it's huge, and I think Ashley would agree with me because we really rely on CVIC to help the victims voice their concerns to us, but also the services that you provide, whether it be finding housing or those domestic violence protection orders or disorderly conduct restraining orders. Sometimes they need help with family planning, custody orders, visitation. I mean, it's huge, the services that you guys offer. And Ashley and I can't provide those in our cases, and it's really important that we are able to focus on the case itself so that we can resolve the issue, hopefully create healthier, happier families, right? That's always our end goal. So the partnership is huge to us, I think, as attorneys in these cases and how it affects the victim.
Yeah, that's actually a good segue to the next question, because I'm curious too how this helps you out as an attorney to have this extra resource and some of the benefits you've experienced in the cases you've worked on.
I mean, it really helps us focus on like the life of the case, because our goal is to hold somebody accountable for their actions, right? But also rehabilitation. You know, what can we do to make this relationship better? I always like to ask people, you know, it's really none of my business, but are you going to continue on in this relationship, especially if they have children, right? I mean, these kids are seeing what's going on in the home and we want it to get better. That's always our goal. And if Ashley and I can focus on that part of the case and CVIC can take anything that the victim needs as far as any kind of therapy services or what she needs or he needs, then it really takes the weight off of my shoulders so that I don't have to feel like I need to help her get all those things done and I can just focus on the prosecution aspect.
Well, I want to thank you both for being here today and for what you do for us every day and our team and what you're doing for our victims and ultimately making Grand Forks a better place to live. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.